What is the best way to find order blocks using basic ICT concepts? So an order block has to do three of three things, right? So the first thing to understand is we must have a break in the market structure. So how am I looking at market structure here on ES, right? So very, very basically, I'm looking for structural high, structural low, structural high, and then we've had a break just over here, right? This here is not a break of structure. This is the break of structure because we want to see a break of structure with a body, not a wick. So with that being said now, let's see how we're going to be reading the markets even further, right? So now for me, the second rule is we need to leave a fair value gap, right? And this is what we're looking for. We are looking for a fair value gap over here in this region, right? So our fair value gap itself is going to be this candle, right? So this here is the fair value gap, right? Which I'm labeling in gray. But this is not the order block, right? The order block is the candle before the fair value gap. And this is what's important to understand. It's always going to be the candle before the fair value gap. And the reason for that is because we want to see price come into this area. It needs to fill the entire fair value gap. So this here is the correct order block. Now, the last thing to really validate this order block and to give you those high probability risk rewards is to understand a few things, right? We need to be trading and selling inside of a premium, right? So premium is very important. So we are basically looking for a structural high up here and a structural low down here. Now, with that being said, we have all of our rules. And so now this short position does in fact become valid. So we can take a short position from here. We can have our stop loss above the high, and we just want to be targeting the low, right? So this is how scalping is done. This is how intraday trading is done. So let's kind of play price on and see what we get. We can see price entering the order block and then eventually giving us our overall TP, right? So of course, takes a little bit of time to get there, but in the end, the markets do come down. Let's see how this trade plays out. So we see the markets heading in our overall direction. So when it comes to finding order blocks, right? Order blocks are the easiest thing to find when it comes to trading the three rules, right? So always mark these three rules down. We want to see price breaking structure, we want to see price leaving a fair value gap, and we want to see price coming above the 50% level. So always remember these three rules when you're trading ICT concepts, especially order blocks.